No, Mike. We're going round in circles. Half the delivery was useless. We're talking over 400 dodgy loads. And that's what got the shipment sent back. It's cost us over 50,000 quid and totally screwed up our order with the Chinese. Look, there's no way in hell I can pay you 20 grand for this. It's a total screw up. We warned you, Mike. This is the third time you've let us down, and this time it's serious. No, I can't pay you. What with? Or else what? Don't make me laugh. Are you trying to put the squeeze on me? Anytime, any place you like, mate. Now stop wasting my time.
Hi, Angel. Don't worry, I'll be back in less than 20 minutes. Okay, see you soon. Bye. Now what? Oh. Oops. Sorry, Tim. I thought you were my sister. Everything okay? I see. Thing is, Tim, that's a fair bit bigger than I normally deal with. Is there no one else who can assist? Well, if you're happy to lend a hand and support me, that sounds great. Yeah, I'd love to get stuck in. Okay. Who's the policy holder? Derek Wood. And the address? Oh, Hounslow, my own area. Okay. And the insurers? Brook Mutual. Okay, so all that we know right now is that it's a fire. Anyone hurt? Badly? Okay, police and fire attendants. Okay. Tim, I'm on my way. Seat of fire, heavily localised at foot of stairs. Fire brigade's unofficial view at this stage is that the fire was started deliberately. Damage to rear of house, less obvious, apart from soot staining pretty much everywhere. Smoke and soot particles ingress west in living room. High concentrations of soot particles in very nice antique dresser.
For you two, we're just picking up Jay. Back in half an hour.
Mr. and Mrs. Wood. Hi. I'm Noah, from Michael Woods, the Lost Adjusters. Please take a seat.
So, you're from the small print merchant then?
Not quite, Mr. Wood. We're an independent Lost Adjusters, and we're here to help you. We get called in to make sure that losses are paid when they're insured.
Yeah. All I know is that my 16-year-old son was carted off in an ambulance, in agony, with a badly broken leg. And the way that fire spread, it's a miracle me and Julie got out in one piece. And if I catch the crooks that have done this, they'll wish they'd never been born.
Listen to what she's got to say, love.
I have to put in a report of an initial estimate loss so that your insurers can consider how best to assist you. And in order to do that, I do need to go through a few basic facts while it's still fresh in your minds. Some of the questions I ask, they might seem a bit intrusive, but they are designed to help you. Okay? Now, Mr. Wood, you are the insured.
Yeah, that's right.
And you are insured on both building and contents with Brook Mutual. And your full name is Derek Arthur James Wood. And you're a businessman.
Yeah, I run Wood Metals. I started it about 8 years ago.
And we've lived at number 17 for about 10 years now. It's when Jason was nearly 7 and Karen was 3.
Look, I know this must be really difficult for you both. But the more in the picture I am, the more I can help get your claim accepted, processed, or paid out. Now, the fire seems to have started behind the front door. In the hallway and the 2 rooms on either side seem to have suffered the most damage. What did you use these rooms for?
Well, as you go into the house, the lounge is on the right and Derek's office is to the left.
All our papers have gone up in smoke. Passports, certificates, accounts, all in that bloody office. All our photos too. Some of it might be okay, but the state of that filing cabinet didn't look too good.
Unfortunately, I do have to ask you this next question. It's really just routine. Have either of you ever had any criminal convictions?
No. Who do you think you are and what do you take us for?
I'm sorry, Mr. Wood. That question's out the way now. So you think what happened was arson? Do you have any idea who might have wanted to harm you?
No.
Good. Now tell me what happened.
Well, I woke with a start in the middle of the night.
She started screaming at me to get up.
Well, I could smell it. It was acrid. And you were dead to the world. You had a couple of glasses.
I had a glass. Anyway, we got to the landing and were nearly blown back by the smoke and the heat.
I screamed for the kids.
And Karen answered straight away, didn't she? I went and got her.
Yeah, you held a pillow to your face. It all happened so fast. And well, Jason's room it's at the front.
I couldn't get across the landing, could he?
He yelled back saying that he was going to jump. It was awful. I don't know. Somehow the 3 of us, we got out of the bedroom window and onto the flat roof and we jumped from there.
I helped the girls out and then chucked me wallet and my keys on the lawn. They were around the front by the time I got down. And then you were kneeling by Jason and I thought...
I could tell straight away that his leg was broken and the fire was raging by this time, so we had to drag him away from the house.
And he nearly passed out. And then the commotion, everyone was on the street. Police, fire brigade, ambulance.
The paramedics looked after Jason. But the whole thing, it just seemed to go on for hours.
I was the one that called Brook Mutual about half hour after the first lot of coppers had left.
And do you have any idea how the fire might have started?
Well, it's got to have been a petrol bomb. It all happened so blimmin' quick, neither of us smoke.
And I hadn't even cooked last night. And all the wiring in the house is new.
Houses don't just catch fire, do they? It all happened so blimmin' quick.
And if it was arson, who do you think might have done it?
We don't have enemies, do we, love?
No.
We tend to keep ourselves to ourselves.
What exactly is your line of business, Mr. Wood?
I supply metals to some of the big manufacturers, mainly India and China, and then there are the local guys.
And are all your business partners upstanding, respectable people, Mr. Wood? Are any of them a little bit tricky?
Well, most of them are totally above board. But we are talking about a business that sources stuff from all around the world, so they're not all bosom buddies. Now, what are you going to do to get me and my family's accommodation sorted? We need clothes and a roof over our head this evening.
And Karen's got school tomorrow. And we've got Jason to look after too.
So it'll have to be somewhere near to here with the doctors and the hospital and everything.
Well, it's pretty clear at this stage that the fire is what we call the proximate cause. That is the real reason for your loss. Fire and things like flood are what's known as insured peril. So far so good, as far as the insurance policy is concerned.
It better be.
I'll give a call to insurers. and I'll make an immediate interim payment for your basic needs. Hotel, some fresh clothes and your evening meals, etc. However, until they come to accept liability, this is by no means admission of policy liability.
I bloody well knew it. You lot are always trying to wriggle out of things. Same old game, eh?
It wouldn't be fair for me to leave you with the impression that everything will be sorted just like that. But, as long as everything turns out to be straightforward and just as you've described it, there really should be no issue.
Well,
I'm here to help things get back to normal as soon as possible.
what do we do now?
Well, find yourself somewhere local to stay for the next few days. And we'll look into getting you into some longer-term temporary accommodation while you concentrate on getting your son better, getting your house rebuilt and your lives back.
I can't believe this is happening.
It might be anything up to 9 months until you're actually back in your house. You probably will get frustrated, but we'll try to sort this out for you as soon as we can. Ever since we get our first qualification in loss adjusting, we're trained to use our critical judgment, professionally. Sometimes you look at the circumstances and people's reactions, and things just don't add up. And I have to say that I wasn't too sure about our insured, Mr. Derek Arthur James Wood. He had been giving off some pretty hostile vibes from the word go. But one thing did seem beyond doubt, to both the fire chief and me. The seat of the fire was in the hallway, and someone had started it deliberately.
How is young Noor? Very well, I'm sure. After all, it wasn't your team that got thrashed 4-1 last night, was it? I'll never live this down with Colin.
Well, you know what they say, Tim, love is blind.
It must be. Now, how are you getting on with Mr. and Mrs. Wood?
Well, in one way it seems open and shut. In another, I wonder if Mr. Wood isn't being just a little bit economical with the truth.
OK, well, we'll come on to family and actual case liability in a minute. Firstly, what reserve do you reckon Brook Mutual need us to put on this?
Well, I think based on the house and other burnouts we've handled, we're probably looking at 80 to 100k to reinstate the place, and that's the worst case. And going by what I saw during my inspection, I'll say we'll end up paying 40 to 60k tops for the contents. Then there's the hotel and some temporary accommodation and other bits and bobs. 10k for those, I think. Surveyor's fee is 10k. 150 to 170k should cover it. We can probably just work back from there.
Sure. OK, sounds realistic, but I need to see your full calculation. Who are the parties with the insured interest? The Woods and the mortgage company?
Yes.
I noticed from your photos that the back of the house doesn't seem too bad, but we need to do a proper structural assessment. What else is bothering you?
Well, the roof at the front of the property is almost totally burned away, and I'm concerned that the bill for Brook won't climb much higher because of a fresh rain damage. And the fire brigade did a brilliant job in putting the fire out so quickly, but I think the water use has done some unavoidable damage already. I think we need to sanction some emergency roofing.
OK, well, £5,000 should cover that. Get hold of our listed contractors and let's put a temporary roof in place pronto. I'm quite happy for us to argue that one with Brook and the mortgage company for that matter, on a strictly without prejudice basis. Now, how's the family?
Well, the son Jason got discharged quite quickly, but his leg is in a plaster. They've been in the Wildflowers Hotel for the last 48 hours. I've written to them saying what we will do, but we've already taken a couple of calls from Derek asking for various pieces of information. He's pushy, but he's cagey about himself.
OK. Well, I remember from your grief cycle training that people can be aggressive for all sorts of reasons. Many of them are wholly innocent. But if you've still got some doubts about his integrity, and I'm assuming the utmost good faith point, then I suggest...
I'll do some research. See if I can find anything to justify my consent.
Exactly. We may well get to find out who burnt the house down from the police investigation, but our role is to make sure that the insured is...
The Woods and the other party with the insurable interest, the big mortgage company,
are indemnified according to policy wording, assuming, of course, no untoward factors. Meantime, let's get busy with the rebuild project and working out a proper restitution method for the contents. What have you got planned and budgeted there?
Well, we're trying to get the family out of the Wildflowers Hotel and into some temporary accommodation ASAP. And to be fair to him, Derek has got on to his local estate agents in double quick time.
Well, he has got a business to run as well as a family to house.
He's already given my name to Fairgreaves, and one of their guys is pushing me for the deposit of the 6 months' rent we think we'll need to pay to sort out their housing needs.
Well, that's as you'd expect.
I've explained to the Woods that the deposit of £1,500 is at their risk and that the insurers will need it back if the landlord blames the family for any damage.
Well done, Laura. I'll have a word with Derek about how to go about the rebuild, and you probably have to talk to him about the contents more than a few times. Well done. Sounds like you're winning.
Thank you, Tim.
I only wish I could say the same about my beloved QPR.
Over the next few weeks, I had quite a few calls with Derek. Some were bright and breezy, others were a bit awkward, but since nothing untoward on his part came to light, Brook Mutual paid the claim. From then on in, the project went into full rebuild and restitution project management mode. Theirs was just one of dozens of cases I was handling at the time, each of them with their separate challenges, but the Woods remained a priority.
Hello?
Derek, it's Noor, how are you?
Not the best, Noor, to be honest. It's chaotic here.
I can tell. Well, look, things are moving through the system. I've sent the preliminary quote to the insurers and I've had the okay to make interim payments.
Couldn't move fast enough. But thanks. What's the next hurdle?
You need to appoint a surveyor, Derek, to advise on the rebuild. Go on the net and look up the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors. They'll be able to let you know who's qualified to do the work locally. Whoever you go with will look after your interests and who'll sign off any works that need doing to the satisfaction of the big mortgage company too.
Okay, thanks.
Bye-bye. Not that it all went smoothly. A few weeks later I found myself juggling the interests of Brook Mutual with the professional opinion of the Wood surveyor, who said the damage caused by the fire to the house was much worse than originally thought, a hefty £8,000 worth. A blow not just for the insurers, but for Derek and his family too. They'd be living in a hotel for 3 weeks, and the extra work on the house meant they'd been in their rented accommodation for nearly 6 months. I was counsellor, mathematician and mediator all at once, doing my best to get Derek and Julie back into the home as soon as possible, while ensuring the building met all the proper standards and regulations, and that cost didn't spiral out of control. And then, about 5 months after I first met with the Woods, when my mind was jumping from teddy bears to white goods and antique restorers, to Julie's ideal settee, and the insurer's preferred suppliers, where once upon a time all that would have seemed so overwhelming, I suddenly thought, I'm good at my job.
And Noor Jubani was good at her job. She managed to keep her cool under immense pressure, talking things over with me when she needed to. And she was right. Derek Wood was hiding something, just nothing he needed to worry about. He hadn't always been so law-abiding, spending 3 months in a young offenders institution when he was 17 for joyriding and evading police arrest. With his conviction now spent under the Rehabilitation of Offenders Act 1974, his insurance was unaffected. It was just his wife he needed to own up to, something one man knew he couldn't do. The supplier who had threatened Derek over the phone knew about his previous conviction, and that his respectable wife Julie did not. Derek was cagey with Noor, not because he was guilty of wrongdoing, but because he wanted to protect his wife from his past and the less savoury aspects of his business. The story made the papers, and though there was nothing about his spent conviction, I guess Derek had some explaining to do to Julie. But domestic dramas aside, Brook Mutual agreed to pursue a separate civil action against the supplier if criminal charges succeeded.